What's that I hear? You guys want to see some $15 game deals from the PlayStation Store January sale? Well, I've got the video for you. This is like my fourth or fifth video about the January sale now. This one here, we are focusing on games under 15 bucks. But if you want games under 10 bucks, 5 bucks, 3 bucks, and 20 bucks, I also have videos for those on the channel as well. Let's dive in and look at the $15 games. Hey everybody, if you're a new viewer of the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I make new videos about the PlayStation every single day on the channel, so hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date. Today's video features 12 games under the $15 price point on the PlayStation Store January sale. So if you got some extra credit for Christmas that you want to spend, here is a good way to do it. Let's look at the first game. Number one on the list is Cuphead. Now, Cuphead was never a really expensive game, coming in at about $20 when it launched, 30% off at the moment, working out to be about $13.99 in the sale. Pretty awesome deal for a game like this. Cuphead being a really critically acclaimed 2D side-scroller game, but a tough as nails sort of boss rush style game. It really doesn't have anything that you can compare it to in terms of gameplay style, except for that 2D side-scroller nature of it. The art style obviously looks like old school Mickey Mouse, and I guess that's what they would kind of rip off, Saturday morning cartoons. But the gameplay itself is tough as nails. If you're looking for a brutal challenge in terms of gameplay, then this is, I guess, the Dark Souls of 2D side-scrollers, and a game that you should be checking out. Speaking of Dark Souls 3 is $14.99 at the moment on the sale. Now, I know a lot of people have this sort of controversy with Dark Souls 3 not being as good as the previous entries in the franchise. Honestly, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Dark Souls 3. I think they took a lot of what made the Souls franchise really good from Dark Souls 1. They scrapped a lot of stuff that ruined the Souls franchise in Dark Souls 2, and they took a lot of the learnings from Bloodborne and created a really unique game in Dark Souls 3 that kind of mixes both the original Dark Souls and Bloodborne. If you guys aren't familiar, Dark Souls is essentially a action RPG light, I would say, where the entire premise is around learning through playing the game. It's a very tough as nails and brutal game, but once you hit that aha moment in the game, everything does seem to get significantly easier as well. For $13.99, you can also pick up Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. This is 3 games in one: Spyro 1, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, or I think it has a different name depending on where you are in the world, and the third game, Spyro Year of the Dragon. The first two, which are really, really good. The third one is a little bit hit and miss in my personal opinion. 3 games here for $13.99. Amazing value here, especially for 3 very classic mascot games from the original PlayStation. If you grew up with PlayStation like I did, you know what Spyro is. Third-person action mascot game. If you didn't grow up with Spyro and you're a new gamer, PS4 or PS3 of you in your first generations, this is an awesome game to check out if you haven't already. Like I said, you're getting incredible value with these 3 games. Not only that, but you're just getting an amazing experience here that it's like Crash Bandicoot. It's almost gaming heritage that you need to have played these games at some point. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is $11.99. Witcher 3 does get discounted pretty frequently, so keep that in mind. It does come down to this price point pretty regularly, I would say. And I think in the previous sale, the Complete Edition or the Game of the Year Edition got down to about 15 bucks as well. So it's not that unusual to see this. I know CD Projekt Red's getting a lot of flack for the whole Cyberpunk debacle, and I have a video about that on the channel if you want to check that out as well. Witcher 3 has proven itself as one of the best Western RPGs on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ecosystem, if not the best. I'm kind of putting myself on the spot here, but I can't think of another game off the top of my head that has beaten it in terms of like good RPGs, although don't hold me to that. Phenomenal experience here, and you're literally getting hundreds of hours of entertainment here for $11.99. The game is an RPG, a Western RPG. It's important to point that out versus a JRPG because it's less convoluted, but an RPG still. It does have some significant action-adventure sort of heritage and mechanics in there as well. So if you're into action-adventure games like God of War and things like that, you're going to be able to pick this up and play it without too much complexity. It is a sort of open world mission collectathon type thing, very similar to a lot of Ubisoft games these days as well. Nixmon Extinction is $14.99, so it's a little bit more expensive, 25% off, but you do get a discount if you have PlayStation Plus as well. This game came out in 2020 and is essentially a Pokemon clone. It's one of 2 Pokemon clones that have come out on the PlayStation 4 this year actually. which is odd because we've gone literally 20 years with kind of no Pokemon clones and then 2 games that are basically just Pokemon. You move your character around the same way you do as a trainer in Pokemon. You collect and battle these creatures, you level them up, you evolve them. It's a budget version of Pokemon. The other Pokemon game that came out this year is Temtem, which apparently is very good. I haven't actually tried it myself yet, but I'm meaning to. Probably get a chance to, hopefully over the holiday season. Another kind of odd addition, but I wanted to try and kind of think outside the box a little bit with some of these, is Blasphemous. This is a slightly more unusual one. This one's normally $24.99. It's down to $12.49. Now this game here is it's a 2D side-scroller Metroidvania style game. It does have a very Metroidvania or Castlevania sort of aesthetic, but it's not as traditional as a Symphony of the Night style game in terms of Castlevania heritage, but it does clearly have some of those roots here. So this gothic style, 2D side-scroller, backtracking, gothic enemies. It's a neat little experience here, and it's heavily discounted as well. Like I said, it's something outside the box, something a little bit different. If you're into Metroidvania style games and you've already played the Bloodstained games, you've already played the Castlevania remake games, like I have, then you have to kind of look outside the box even further, and this is a really good place to start doing that. Spirit of the North is $8.99, so it actually goes a little bit lower than that. Now this is a game that actually recently relaunched itself on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. It was a PlayStation exclusive up until I think about 2 weeks ago. You play as this fox and the spirit of a fox, and you go and do fox things. It's a game very similar to Journey, where you have to kind of play it yourself to understand what's going on and to really get the full impact of the experience and the game. It was well received when it launched. It's actually a pretty neat little experience for $8.99. I do highly recommend it. 55% off, platinum trophy to boot, which is always good for all of us trophy hunters out there. Neat little different type of experience to add to your list and your collection. Shimmer 1 and 2 is $11.99. Now, Shimmer is one of these weird games that honestly I don't get it. I played Shimmer 1 and I don't really understand why it's so popular, but I know the franchise is incredibly popular among this community. Even I get people recommending Shenmue to me on the Twitch channel and YouTube often. This captures the first 2 Shenmue games before the third game. These 2 were originally Dreamcast games, and the newest one was a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One game. There was a pretty big gap between 2 and 3 there. I don't even know what I really compare Shenmue to there. Sega's answer to, I guess they're an RPG action. Oh, they're not really an RPG. I guess it's an action drama game, I suppose. There is like a heavy focus on the story and the narrative that's going on, and I think that probably trumps the gameplay and things. So I guess if you get wound up in that narrative, it's probably what takes precedent, but there is dialogue choices and things like that, I believe. So it does kind of fit into some of these RPG-like mechanics as well. I don't know, maybe someone in the comment section down below can kind of shed some light on what makes Shenmue so special, and maybe I'll revisit it myself. My Friend Pedro, this is a 2D, I guess a bullet hell shoot 'em up style game. This one here was incredibly popular when it launched on the Nintendo Switch and the PC, I believe, and came to PS4 a little bit later on. It's $10, so 50% off. Doing a $15 video like this is great because it allows you to capture a bunch of stuff that aren't necessarily AAA, that are things that you might have potentially missed out on or not been aware of. My Name is Pedro it's a brutally hard, fun, silly shoot 'em up 2D bullet hell side scroller style game. If you're into those, you check this one out. But it's a hard one. It's a hard game. Neonius actually fits into a similar style as My Name is Pedro. Slightly different, not quite as bullet helly, but it is a roguelike action platformer style game. You progress, you die, that permadeath sort of thing, you upgrade your character, you go back, you do it again, you get further, you die, etc, etc, etc. Stylish, the neon aesthetic is cool, I'm all about the purples, and this game does that pretty well. 5 Dates, another FMV game. I've recommended a ton of these on the channel already over the last couple of sale videos. This is the newest one in the series of FMV games, 20% off at the moment, so $10.39. This one here is about dating while you're in lockdown. It tackles dating during COVID, which is something that I think all of us have had to experience at some point this year, unless you're just always alone. FMV being full motion video, you take control of the actual actors and you make decisions. Very similar to a Quantic style game where you make choices and decisions for these characters and the outcomes play out for you. Pretty neat concept for a game. I have been recommending these ones a little bit lately because they're quite different and unique to a lot of games that a lot of you guys have played already, giving you something completely fresh and new to try out. And the last game is Vanquish. Vanquish is a PlayStation 3 third-person shooter game. It's a game that's kind of unrivaled in terms of like how kinetic it is and how frantic it is. The game is super fun. You get to play in this mech suit, you slide around, you're shooting stuff in slow motion and shooting all over the place. It's a really neat game. You're kind of playing as an Iron Man suit guy without flying around and stuff. But it is older. It has been remastered for the PlayStation 4, but it is still a PS3 game at heart. Vanquish, though, is one of those games that came out last generation and just didn't get any love. It deserves your love. It deserves your attention. Go and check it out. But there you have it, guys. That is 12 games available under 15 bucks that you can pick up on the PlayStation Store January sale. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, let me know which games you're going to be checking out in the comment section down below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I do have a couple more January sale videos coming out over the next couple of days, so stay tuned for those. If you enjoyed this one though, give it a thumbs up, and if you hated this one, give it a thumbs down. And hopefully I'll see you in the comment section or in the next video. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.